see half of your face right now, Susan. There we go.
The struggle is real. Okay. You're dealing with a woman here. What can I say, right? Like women drivers, I'm being awful, aren't I? I'm just
we did a show 2 hours ago on how feminism is destroying society.
Oh, absolutely
Yes.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention driving. But anyway, no, that's another thing. Yeah, no, absolutely. That was the purpose of feminism. The whole purpose of feminism was to destroy men. It was the entire purpose is to actually take down a culture that is based on individual families. That's the whole purpose of feminism.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't it Rush
100%.
Limbaugh that said the purpose of feminism was to give ugly women an opportunity in media or something like that?
Yeah.
If he didn't say it, he should have, but it is. I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Perfect.
This is a hot mess show.
You know what's funny? It's always the shows that are all effed up that are always the best.
I know. Here, are we supposed to make our faces bigger?
Okay, that would be like this.
There we go. See, I can't do that.
Okay.
I'm with a fixed camera scenario here.
Hold on.
That's perfect, dude. Yeah, there you go.
What does this look like?
Now.
That
Serious.
looks good. That looks
Serious.
good. That looks good. And that looks good.
Okay.
And then everybody up together, the trifecta.
Whoa!
Yeah,
it like sweeps in like that. Wait a minute.
Dope.
Wait a
That's
minute.
pretty awesome.
It's actually,
I didn't even know it did that.
And then mine's gonna go out like that, or mine's gonna go out like that.
That's because Casey is the god of the machine. That's what he is.
That's my last name is Gates.
Oh well, there you go. So you're getting all the money. All the money.
Oh my gosh!
Only
Can
a
I
percentage.
cancel my own show? We're canceled. Oh man.
Cousin feels good to me.
All right. Well, today we are what? I don't even know. What are we talking about? We're talking about. See, I'm prepared.
I'm so lost.
So you are a pro-life attorney, I'm told, and
I play one in real life too. So there.
It's always funny. People are like, what are you, some kind of lawyer? It's like, yeah,
well,
literally.
I am.
So two things, because everyone was saying economy. Everyone was saying gas and food. But you're going to tell us how, why am I waving a bullet around? Goodness gracious. They're so violent. Here I am waving a bullet around like a dictator.
Oh, that'll trigger everybody. Just wave a bullet around.
This is the one I chew on at night to keep me from thinking about taking over the country.
But
well,
the two...
they're like SUVs. They kill people. Bullets kill people. And SUVs kill people. And
SUVs
I think
kill
we need to take away all the knives too, and the baseball bats and everything, because all of these objects kill people.
You know what I'm worried about? Look at this letter opener. This thing
is that can kill people.
I know. See,
we're
going to get
more
taken
than just
down.
A letter, my friend.
Oh, man. I got all my fidget items here. This is my handcuff key.
Yeah, one of those little fidget spinners from a few years ago.
My fidget spinner is a 12 gauge.
So all of my fidget items are like military law enforcement. We got a handcuff key, the letter opener. We got 556 green tip. We got the O positive. Wait, Casey, you know what this one is? This little orange guy.
What is that?
I can't see it.
It's a empty chamber indicator.
Ooh.
Yeah, which here we can.
So
now people will really get triggered.
So in World War,
well, literally, yeah.
Oh, just that noise right there.
I know.
You put it in, and it's empty. Whoops, you can see.
Love that sound.
So in actually it was World War II.
That right there is the sound of safety, and every woman should absolutely swoon when they hear that, because that's the sound of a real man. I love it.
The M1s. Everybody's watched, the war movies where you hear pam, 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 pitching. That pa-ching is the lock saying you're
all
not
out.
gonna get shot now.
Yeah. Speaking of swoon, I was interviewing friend of the show, love her to death, Wendy Strouch Mahoney, and something happened. I think my gun was like uncomfortable in my pants, so I took it out and emptied it, and she swooned a little. She did. We were on live. And someone clocked it in the comments. They were she was like, oh, you're really good at that.
You really are packing.
Oh man. All right, Casey. Goodness gracious. It's Friday. It's Friday. Do I need to pull the bourbon down?
I think you need to keep your gun in your pocket. Okay.
Oh man.
You weren't really happy to see me.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that
you guys.
ties,
oh man.
That ties seamlessly into one of the two topics we're talking about, reproductive rights, as they say.
That's right.
And abortion's impact on the election, which is so funny because I declared I am not doing any more election coverage. I don't even think we have elections in this country, and I'm over it. And every guest since that day has booked election coverage interviews. So now we have the lovely Susan Swift. One, what are reproductive rights, and how did this whole thing, how did abortion, Roe v. Wade, all that stuff affect the midterms?
Okay, well, here's what's coming up new. We're not even talking about.
We're serious people here, so.
Oh yeah, right. Not really. We will actually provide some semblance of fact and discussion. How's that? What just passed these in the last election in California, Michigan, and to some degree also Vermont. There were 3 different propositions. In California, it was called Proposition 1. In Michigan, it was Proposition 3. In Vermont, it was Proposition 5. They're all very similarly worded. And what they say, I'll lead with the California one because that's the ugliest, broadest, biggest problem. It's it's going to be the gorilla in the room for abortion as far as this goes. Here's what, and it was actually sold to the unwitting populace as a bill that was necessary to protect abortion rights in California, which is a lie. That's fake because our California laws already enshrine abortion, and our California Supreme Court has said on multiple occasions that abortion is a fundamental right for women in California.
And the CIA.
Oh, there she goes. Susan, they got you.
Okay.
Just hand signals, and she's back.
Can you hear me?
She's back.
Yes.
We can
We
hear
were
you.
talking about stabbing people in nightclubs.
We can hear and see you.
Well, I am a professionally trained actress, so I can pantomime and do all I need to communicate. That's my job. All right. So shall we pick up where I was left off? I was kicked off and rolled over onto the bus by you guys.
We might as well do a cam adjustment real quick, too. There we go. Let's get you set.
Better what do you want? Okay.
So
I want to make you happy. I like to make you happy.
A little bit more.
We can go the big.
There we go. There. No, you're good right there. Yeah. As long as we got equal space on each side, we're good. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
If anybody's even still watching after all of this, right?
This is live.
No, it's not live.
It's not live. It's recorded.
No,
it says live in the corner, but it's not.
Casey's going to have a lot of work editing this down. Okay. All right. So back to your original question.
Something about Prop 1.
Something about Prop 1. All right. California, Michigan, Vermont all passed very, very similar propositions to amend their constitution, state constitution. In California, it's the biggest, broadest, ugliest one that you can just drive a Mack truck through.
That sounds like California.
Well, if you have the diesel fuel, you could. I don't know if we're going to have it anymore. But anyway, so here's what California Prop 1 says. It says the state shall not deny or interfere with an individual's reproductive freedom, include in their most intimate decisions, including contraception and abortion. Okay, so let's break that down. first of all, an individual. That term's already defined in law. It means a person, and it doesn't have any restrictions based on age or anything. So an individual can mean a 4-year-old, it can mean an 8-year-old, a 40-year-old, whatever it is, right? So there's no restriction on ability to think or vote, or there's no limit on what an individual is, other than it's a human being, it's a person, right? Okay, so that's an individual. The second part of it is reproductive freedom. And here comes the Marxist Orwellian language game that they always like to do, right? It's a new term. It is not defined. It's not defined in law, and it's not defined by the proposition itself. So reproductive freedom, it's a lovely Marxist, socialist, communist term because it sounds good, right? I don't want the state dictating my reproductive freedom.
But
I don't
it
want
doesn't
them
mean
telling me.
anything.
Well, not yet, but it will. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
because
it's
if
going to
What
mean
you
this is
something.
can
gonna,
add to it.
we're actually going to be allowing judges, you know, those men in black robes, to define what that means, because somebody's going to go into a California state court and says, well, I have a reproductive right to pedophilia, right? I'm a minor attracted person. That's how we refer to these weirdos, right? These, you know, mental misfits, right? Who like to diddle small children. All right. Those pedophiles, well, they have a right to reproductive freedom, do they not? Right. And so, you know, hey, what's wrong with a 12-year-old boy? Nothing. Right. So are we going to throw these children under the bus in the name of minor attracted personalities? Right. Is that what we're going to do? Well, our state constitution, California, that those rules in our constitution trump statutes. They override statutes. So now we're going to have to consider, all right, the state shall not deny or interfere with a minor attracted person's reproductive freedom.
Oh my God.
Casey gets
Wow.
it. Casey gets it. All right.
Wow,
The light
that's
bulb's gone
You're
on.
legalizing
this?
child everything.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Everything. It strips parental rights. It strips parental rights potentially. A
I
parent
don't
can
want you
say,
to have
And
sex
they-
with my 6-year-old. Well, it's
They
up to the
know what
6-year-old.
they're doing, because everything in
yes,
law,
they do.
every word going back to Bill Clinton,
Everything means
depends on
something.
what is means. You know, like
Right.
this Section 230 stuff. Is it the
Yeah.
provider or a provider?
Right.
They mean
Well,
totally different things in law.
To
And
quote Bill Clinton, well, it just depends on what the definition of is. Dude, I'm
Man.
sorry, but you know, that's what we're talking about. Now, it's not just pedophilia; it's also things like transgender rights. Right in California, again, Prop 1 has passed, and also SB 107 has passed.
Oh, I was
107.
wanting to talk about
That's
that.
the one that says the state of California can take custody away from parents if a child is in California or is brought to California by either a parent or any other person. Can you say trafficked? Right? So brought into California for purposes of gender transitioning. So now we've got a little boy in Texas who thinks he wants to be a girl, and he needs to have a surgical procedure, and he gets to California. Well, he can have that. He can have puberty blockers and surgery, all because the state can take custody of him away from the parents, and the parent will not have any notification or right to intervene under SB 107. I am not making this up. I'm just a lawyer. Okay. I'm just repeating it. So now all of this was billed under the banner, the talisman of abortion. You see, Proposition 1 was sold to us as we must protect abortion rights, even though all of abortion in California, it's legal up to the moment of birth and beyond under AB 2223. If you don't want me to, I can go through that if you want. I think we've talked about it before, but abortion rights in California are already considered constitutional fundamental rights under our state constitution. So this abortion talisman was used to kind of sneak this Proposition 1 through under, the mantle of abortion, right? And so now we have this undefined term, reproductive freedom, that can eviscerate laws against incest or rape or surrogacy or polygamy. And what about those infertile couples who say, well, we can't conceive a child, therefore the state shall not or deny or interfere with our rights to have reproductive freedom. We need a surrogate. We need you to provide a surrogate for me. And there cannot be there. It's possible that you can't even regulate normal health options for women or men. Like you can have private firms selling eggs, buying sperm, mixing up everything up in test tubes and experimenting on it. And who's to stop it? Because the state shall not deny or interfere with an individual's reproductive freedom. So
Now,
there you
look,
go.
this isn't a call for violence, but whenever I think of California, I am amazed that Californians haven't just gone in and pulled those politicians out and beat the crap out of them.
There,
Just
look,
been
don't
like,
take your gun
I'm
out of your
literally
pocket.
amazed.
Don't take your gun out.
Joe
of
is sitting there
to.
trying to write checks for me right
I'm
now.
telling
As
you,
he's on the
they're
East
ignorant.
Coast.
I don't
This
look,
is nuts.
the messaging around Proposition 1 was, frankly, it was very clever because the pro-aborts are all saying, we have to protect a woman's right to choose. Look what they're doing. They've eviscerated Roe versus Wade. Women are going to be forced to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen forever, right? That's what they're basically saying.
Look, I don't care if my wife wears shoes.
But wait a minute. Hold on here. All they did was give the legal authority back to the states
Yeah,
to decide whether or not it's legal within that state.
Yeah, California's free to be as radical and ridiculous as you guys want out there. It's nuts.
Exactly, and they're going to pay for it. So now, not only are we having, the SB 1142, which was the big abortion vacation bill, that pays for everybody's abortion. You can come here to California, get your abortion hotel, get your abortion Uber or Lyft or whatever, and you're going to get your free abortion because Planned Parenthood needs to improve its abortion access. Right? We've now got a website in California.
Well, we'll stop you right there because they do say free, guys. 3 sources of funding: your tax dollars, big tech, and big box stores. Okay, so stop paying for big tech crap and oh my gosh, guys, don't shop at Walmart.
You're paying.
Many people know about our clinic, but most don't realize we help patients around the globe reach their health goals. Deep down, you know there's got to be a way to get there, but you don't know where to start. Our starter plan is the first step. You'll get everything you need to experience a health transformation in 120 days.
You'll start by resetting your health with a 2-week detox. Then you'll implement our proven anti-inflammatory food plan. On top of this, you'll get a 120-day supply of essential supplements, omega-3, and vitamin DK, as well as our homeopathic drops to accelerate your health goals.
Go to Sherwood.tv now and use the promo code on your screen to receive this exclusive offer and save a total of $80.
This is your path to more energy and better health.
No, somebody's paying for it, but it's not going to be these women who are trafficked across state lines. Oh, by the way, just so you know, Biden very quietly, his administration on November 10th just issued an HHS, a new field ordinance that says we need to locate and round up all of the unaccompanied minors who are pregnant. Will those be the ones that are coming across the border? I don't know. But in any event, the unaccompanied minors who are pregnant, and we will provide federal transportation to one of these states that will provide abortion care for them. So here we are. God. Yeah. Now, the Hyde Amendment prevents the federal government from funding abortion, but it doesn't stop the federal government from funding travel to states that provide abortion.
But
so
now you're circumventing parents.
Yes, absolutely.
In the decision.
So,
absolutely. They don't care about parents. And they would just abolish the term.
Parental rights. Parental rights are under attack.
Parents are an existential right to the government, an existential threat to the government, because parents are the ones who they come together. They are independent. They create a family. They raise children to be independent minded. That is an existential threat to a centralized, communist socialist government. So of course they're stripping parents' rights, and that they're doing it with Proposition 1 in California. Proposition 3 in Michigan is very, very similar, reproductive freedom. And in Vermont, Prop 5 said reproductive autonomy. Okay, so these are new terms that are going to be injected into our judicial history, and you're going to start seeing more and more attempts in other states to propagate this, so that now parents won't have an ability to. I mean, already in California, there is no parental notification or consent for a minor to go and get an abortion. So your 13-year-old daughter can go to your, the school nurse or whomever she wants. She can go get an abortion with a judge's approval or, outside of school, anywhere she wants, and parents will not be notified.
If somebody gets
that
my
battle was lost
13-year-old
years ago.
daughter pregnant, I want to know who.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, that all of the messaging, they always like to blame the government for making, women pregnant. It's like, who exactly in the government?
We say that we
forcing
get
women?
screwed by the government, but not literally screwed by the government.
Yeah.
Who
Now
exactly?
they're literally getting screwed by the government, and I
But
don't
what-
know
and
as a parent.
Right. What government official is raping women and forcing them to get pregnant?
Well, you
Really?
know,
I wanna know.
I hear there are some guys in pretty high offices that do have a thing for young women. So
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
But,
you know.
It starts with
seriously,
cigars
the
back in the
mindset is-
90s, right?
yeah, the mindset is that, well, once a woman finds herself pregnant, it's like, finding a dollar on the street or something. Oh, I found myself pregnant, right? That somehow it is now the state's fault for keeping her pregnant. This is the crazy of it. It's like, okay, now, and we have to have abortion as health care to relieve her from this horrific health burden of being pregnant, which is 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, she got herself there herself, right?
Yeah.
But the other part of this, who is benefiting most from abortion? Men.
Yep.
Because they don't have to take care of her. They can leave the tip on the nightstand and off they go, right? They don't have to care for her. They don't have to respect her as a human being. They can use her and then lose her. And men should be ashamed. And you know what? Men could stop this tomorrow. All you guys have to do is say, I am never going to allow a woman the right to kill my child. I'm never going to give her that kind of power. I'm going to control myself. I'm not going to use these women. And I'm going to make sure that I'm a good, honorable, moral man, and make sure that if I choose to start having those kind of relations, I'm going to do it in the context of marriage or some other social contract, if you will, that guards and protects my rights to parent that child.
But
And so
that's not
all
gonna
of this
happen.
could end tonight if all of you
Susan,
guys just stopped for a
Susan,
minute.
it's
Put your gun in
it's
your
not going to
pocket.
happen. I had a girlfriend straight up abort my child without telling me that she was pregnant.
Oh my God.
And when I found out about it, I was devastated.
I'm so sorry, Casey. That is
So-
just awful. But
so
again, it's just
it's one of those, and there's always a yin to every yang, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, how do you go through this entire subject without leaving somebody out? And
Well, that's the bull crap of the equality movement. It's never been equality. It's always, we want better than, more than some other group. We want to treat injustice with injustice. Men have virtually zero rights.
zero
when it comes
No
to-
rights. No rights.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was the
You can
purpose of
steal
feminism.
my sperm from me, impregnate somebody else with it, and I'm still going to be responsible for it.
Well,
It has
don't
actually
leave your
happened in the
sperm
NBA.
out on the desk, okay?
Well, it's happened in the NBA where NBA players have had women
Mhm.
give them a
Oh,
blowjob
yeah.
and a condom, and then take the semen and impregnate themselves
Oh,
or somebody else, and then go
that's
for
more
parental
information
rights.
that I need. But okay, so don't do that. Okay, I mean, look, you
It's
guys,
happened.
I'm sorry, but you don't have to do. Nobody's pointing a gun at you and saying you have to do this. You can just say no. You can
That's
just say,
true.
I'm not going to do this. I am not going to give that woman an opportunity to impregnate herself with my semen. I'm just not going to do
You
it.
know
Well,
what's
Yeah,
funny?
that's because you
That's
beat
up
the
to you.
game.
The Bible actually says that, and this is why I hate translations, because it says men do not give your power to a woman.
Oh,
And
really?
I
Okay, good.
hate the translations
during
because
sex
what
we
it
do.
actually means,
Yeah.
it means in Hebrew is don't give your seed, your semen
somebody that
to a
doesn't
woman.
deserve it.
That's what it
Your
means.
life force.
I don't know why
force.
they translate certain things like that, because you're reading it in English and it doesn't mean anything remotely close to that. Don't give your power to a woman.
But
It makes it
this
sound like
is
don't
what
let
I
her
tell
wear
my
the pants.
sons.
Yeah,
is what I
no,
tell my
it's
sons.
don't
Do
let
not
her
give-
into your pants.
Yeah, don't give this life-giving power that you guys have. Don't give that to a woman. She has a life-giving power too. And it is a superior power because we can create life and grow it, and then you have a baby at the end. You guys can't do that. We can.
Well, it's
So
supposed
with-
to be pretty intentional, you know.
I
I've
know it's
gotten
supposed
a
to be.
woman pregnant 4 times, my wife,
Woohoo!
and I've not accidentally gotten any other woman pregnant.
You're a disciplined
Oh,
man. I
man.
respect that. There you go.
Goodness
But that's
gracious.
what self-discipline is, and that is being intentional. But and that's the whole point. You don't give that life-giving force to some woman who now then has the power to kill it. And so we can end abortion tonight. All the men in the world can. They can just say, I'm not doing this anymore. Not going to happen anymore. And then we don't have abortion anymore. And then these women don't get to say, I've been forced to be pregnant. And then they don't get to they don't get to use the system to abort their babies and use taxpayer dollars to do it. So it is on the men to a large degree.
In a
Not
perfect
only
world.
them, not
In a
only,
perfect
but
world. Now back to reality.
Well,
yeah.
even
Well,
even in
so
even
my
in the
solution is-
imperfect world, the birth control, there are 100 methods.
Listen,
Yeah, I'm sure
guys,
there
guys,
are.
guys. There's
one.
condoms. There's all kinds of birth control, things. Abortion is not birth control, nor should it have ever been even remotely considered that way.
Like, if you don't want to get pregnant, make
Then
sure you're
don't
up
put
to date
yourself
on
in a
your.
scenario where you're going to
Well,
get pregnant.
You can make sure you're up to date on your COVID jabs, and then you
As long as you got your
can lay
boosters,
down
you're good
with
to go.
whomever.
As a matter of fact, you probably only have 6 months to live, so keep
Yeah.
going for it. But here's my thing though. Okay, when this scenario happens, it's like Florida with 13 weeks. When I saw a cell divide in a microscope in biology, I went, "That's life. That is life. That is an actual thing that's starting to try to do its thing."
Bro. Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to see that thing die over politics or my personal opinion, or I don't want to do this. Fine, then let's make the adoption system a little easier to access. Let's make it easier for even single parents to start adopting kids. My wife died back in 2011. I haven't remarried because I'm still heartbroken over it. I would still like to raise some kids. So it's one of those things where, sorry, Joe, that was a little bit. Yeah, you didn't know about that,
Casey,
did you?
You know what I'm thinking when you said we'll talk offline, but it's I still.
There's,
Yeah.
it's funny. I keep dropping stuff on you.
You know
like
who
that.
comes to mind.
But look, you know what? The way that,
Yeah, she does come to mind, doesn't she? Sorry.
the way that we're going to end, the way that we're really going to end abortion is not with laws. It's not with things like Proposition 1, and it's not all that. It's going to end when we are compassionate to those women, when men treat them with respect, when other women embrace them and come alongside and say, there is no need for you to abort that baby because we can care for it. We can help you. We'll walk you. We'll big sister with you all the way through. If you don't want to parent the child, that's okay. We will find adoptive parents who will. And there is no reason to kill another human being. That is the truth. The problem with that is we have one side of this country who does not want to acknowledge the humanity of that unborn person. They want to pretend it's tissue. They want to pretend that it's just not important. And they even, and some of them, the very most radical, don't care. They say it doesn't matter. I saw one woman, I don't know if it was on TikTok or YouTube or something, interview, just said, well, it doesn't matter. It's the mother's right to decide to kill that child, even if it's 2 or 3 years old. I mean, that is the mentality. And I got the serious part of this. I know we've been having kind of too much fun, and I do want to bring it back to just being very serious for a minute. That individual person, that little individual unborn person, if you can't defend life in the womb, you are talking about an existential threat to our republic, to our very Constitution, because our Constitution was informed by the Declaration of Independence. And in that Declaration of Independence, we state very emphatically that our rights come from God, not government, and that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, among those being the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Supreme Court should have looked at that document, which is it's one of our founding documents. It informs the Constitution, and the right to life, it precedes all others. You can't have liberty without life, and you certainly can't pursue happiness without life and then liberty. And that is the foundation for our republic. If we are able to start redefining what life is, and all of a sudden now we're not defending the unborn until they're, born. Maybe they're 2 years old. Maybe they're 3 years old. This is incrementalism. It's classic Marxist, socialist, communist behavior, where we're incrementally diminishing and denying the individual right to life. And that is an existential threat to our country. We have to protect our country and our way of life. And the best way to do that is to defeat abortion once and for all.
That makes sense to me.
Boom.
Unless
I
it's
know
a
it's a buzzkill,
life-threatening
sorry.
scenario, not for the baby, but for the mother. And then, of
It's
course, we
devastating.
always have those rare circumstances where, of course, we don't want to lose 2 lives. We'd rather lose
Of
one.
course. And I'll tell you what the answer is to that, though, Casey. Abortion is never the answer. Here's why. Because the purpose of abortion is the intentional killing of the baby, of the human being. That's
Right.
it. Now, what is if you're talking about an intention to save a mother, let's say preeclampsia, let's say an ectopic pregnancy, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, so long, she's going to blow up her fallopian tubes. There's no way for the baby to survive. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. And that's basically less than 2%. It's
Yes.
probably, it's less
Very
than 1
low.
probably.
Yeah,
But okay,
it's-
fair enough. Guess what? There's a procedure. It's called delivery. And that's what you do. You deliver the woman from pregnancy. Okay. The pregnancy itself is going badly for whatever reason, preeclampsia, whatever the anomaly is. And it happens rarely, but it does happen. And that's why it's called triage. And they deliver the
triage,
mother
yeah.
from the pregnancy. And sometimes that gives the chance of the baby. It always preserves the chance of the baby to survive. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they're under, 17 weeks old or less than 20 weeks old. Someday we're going to be able to push viability back, maybe even to 15 weeks. Who knows? In ectopic pregnancies, all right, but at least you can remove that ectopic pregnancy, that little tiny human being, maybe only 4 weeks old, right? Or 6 weeks old and has a heartbeat. But you don't have to cut it up and suck it into little, pieces. You don't have to do that. What you can do is remove it
saying
humanely.
abortion because it's it's murder, but the most people say, well, the chemical killing is the most popular one. No, it's dismemberment. Dismemberment is the most popular method.
Cutting up a baby inside of the mom.
I think as of 2020, according to Guttmacher Institute, which is, that's the data-driven arm of the Planned Parenthood. That was Alan Guttmacher, who's a real eugenics fan himself. Anyway, they gathered the data. As of 2020, the most common use of abortion is the chemical abortion, mifeprex and misoprostol. Those are the drug it's 54%.
Okay, I was thinking
it's
Plan B.
interesting that they don't include, still playing with the bullets, sorry, that they don't include in their numbers
Stop playing with your bullets.
This is the greatest genocide in human history. Did you know you can be fined, sued into financial ruin, or even have your business shut down if you don't have the right verbiage on your website? Yeah, neither did I, until I met Erica Kohlberg. Erica's a licensed practicing attorney who found a serious gap in the market. Firms like hers charge massive fees for simple legal document services. Erica knew there had to be a better way, and that's how Plug and Law was born. Plug and Law is the best solution for all your business's legal needs. They provide fill-in-the-blank legal templates to protect you, your business, and the people who depend on you most. With Plug and Law's legal bundle, you get a privacy policy, terms and conditions, and a legal disclaimer crafted by an attorney for the fraction of the price. Legal documentation preparation fees with your own lawyer can cost $500, $800, even $1,000 for a single document. A privacy policy alone comes in for an average of $500. Use my affiliate link to get Plug and Law's legal bundle for just $97. You could find an attorney and pay upwards of $1,500 for the same legal documents, but you're too smart for that. Go to thejoemobleyshow.com/law and get the legal bundle for just $97. Right now, we're throwing in a free affiliate marketing legal guide. That's a savings of nearly $2,000. Don't miss out and risk everything you've built. Go to thejoemobleyshow.com/law and protect your business, yourself, and your family. This is the greatest genocide in human history. And we've had some doozies of genocides, especially when you're screwed around with communism, socialism, Marxism. But America's cracked this.
Worldwide, I think it's over 330 million people have been killed
Oh,
with
yeah.
abortion. I believe I might have that figure off a little bit, but it's much more than six. We're just talking about at least 63 million that we know of in the United States. It's more
Well,
than
I
that
mean,
worldwide. It's a genocide that it makes Stalin look like a piker. You know,
I mean,
And-
we've heard over at least over the last 2 years, Black Lives Matter, except in abortion clinics.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, that's
It's
sick.
nuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean,
I would
cities
love
like
to.
New York, there are more black babies aborted than born, and
Yes, they are.
it's not racist white people doing that to you.
No,
It's you.
it's you killing your own black baby. That's what
Yeah.
the racial disparate impact, the disparate racial impact of abortion is clear. Look, Margaret Sanger got that thing started so many years ago, right?
Mhm.
She's the one that sold the Negro Project to black
Yep.
pastors, trying to control the fertility and reproductive rates of black women because she didn't like blacks, browns, and Catholics. Now that's just fact. So she's a white
And
racist
LBJ
eugenicist.
and
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah,
and
a
it is
eugenicist and a
population control.
racist and a radical liberal. She was
Yeah,
you
gonna try
realize
to
that
get the-
eugenics is still
They all
alive and
kind of go
well in the
together,
United
don't
States,
they?
right?
Yeah,
They
it's all
do go
population
together.
control.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
sick.
people who were born under the Social Security system right now in the United States, if you were born disabled under the Social Security system, you are not allowed to marry somebody else who was also born disabled under the Social Security system. Eugenics is alive and
Wow.
well in the United States right now.
I know we need to breed the master race, right? I mean, this sounds like Hitler, right?
Right?
We don't want the
I mean, we
Hitler
do have
right.
NASA, right?
Hitler
Where
or
do
a
all the
Democrat.
scientists come from?
I mean,
Yeah.
the attack on Down syndrome children and trisomy 18 children, it's sick because we have to have the superior bloodlines, right? I wonder which bloodlines we're actually trying to promote. Anyway, that's off topic, but
Yeah. But
um,
it's true, and no one knows about it. Well, okay, dumb Democrats don't know about it, and we'll tell them. They're like, "Where did you get this?
wake up!
These are your team's written and recorded statements. They're in their books, their letters, and their commercials from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like, what are we even talking about? Whoa,
Well,
I'm
you're
big
not
now.
wrong. You're not wrong. But and remember, you asked me a second question about the impact of abortion
On the election.
on the
Yeah.
election. Okay, well, I got my research. Here's what I did. All right. So let's remember going back to November 7th, there was the poll that came out. It was an ABC Washington Post poll that showed that, and Susan B. Anthony's reporting it, so you can go find it there, right? 64% of Americans reject abortion on demand. 64%. So most Americans want to support some sort of restriction on abortion. That was on November 7th. That's the day before the election. All right. Then let's compare that to a CNN exit poll that found that 75% of people who went to the polls and came out said that inflation was their number one issue. Not abortion, but inflation. So I think it's
Wow.
very, very hard to say that that abortion drove the election. I think that's the narrative that the pro-aborts want you to do because they don't have anything to run on down the trail with them. How are they going to run on, the pro-abort so-called Catholic in the White House right now, Biden? I mean, he's the one that, I mean, hello,
Catholic in name only.
I mean,
Just call him a Catholic.
I mean, talk about a kino, right? Catholic in name only. I'm a Catholic. This is very offensive to me. He is messing with my brand, that guy. So is Nancy Pelosi, all of these pro-abort Catholics. Well, they're all, look, according to my faith, they're all excommunicated. So they're all fake Catholics anyway, because you cannot be Catholic and be pro-abortion. You just can't. You've excommunicated yourself. You got to go back. You got to apologize to God in confession, and you have to redeem your life. And then you can return to being Catholic. That's the way that it works. So anyway, but staying back on my point with the elections, let's look at some of the races that happened. How about the governor's races? Oklahoma has a total ban on abortion. It is abortion, or the procedure of delivering a woman from a life-threatening pregnancy, is allowed, right, for the life of the mother. But absent that, Oklahoma says abortion is illegal. That was in effect in August 2022. It was a trigger law that happened because of the overturn of Roe versus Wade. So everybody knew about it, and yet they still went to the polls and they voted for a very pro-life governor, Governor Kevin Stitt. He was reelected. Let's look at Texas, who has the 6-week heartbeat bill, that 6 to 8 week heartbeat ban that everybody was talking about. And guess what? Governor Greg Abbott won handily and beat out Beto, the soy boy beta male. Anyway,
Three-time loser.
I mean, that's 3. I thought I saw some little meme that was Owen, 3-0. It was so funny. It was 0-3.
I think Stacey Abrams and Beto need to be on the show The Biggest Loser. But instead of like losing weight, well, Stacey could stand to lose some weight, but instead of losing weight, they could be talking about losing.
Isn't her name like Stacey Big as an Abrams tank? I don't know.
Oh, man.
But let's go to. I can say it. You can't. Anyway, so Georgia, 2019. In 2019, they had a law that banned abortion after 6 weeks. It was immediately a trigger law as soon as Roe versus Wade went down. So it's been on the books. Georgia 2019, right? Okay, so it's banning abortion after 6 weeks. And guess what? Governor Brian Kemp trounced Stacey Abrams, who wanted to say that a baby's heartbeat on a sonogram at 6 weeks was fake, right? That it was a made-up sound. So Stacey doesn't know what she's talking about. She's just lying and making things up. And Governor Brian Kemp won. So, and also look at Florida. That has
it's incredible. People believe now the three of us have to argue with idiots that believe Stacey Abrams, who says, "Oh, that's actually a manufactured sound effect that they added to it."
Now, what they're trying, that's because she's very, very clever, because the sonogram, it's the same as like what you use in, submarines and things. It sends out a ping and then it converts that image to a sound. So that's how she's trying to be really technical and say, it's all manufactured and it's fake. But what she's using that to do is to deny the existence of the heartbeat, because everybody knows, everyone knows when there's a heartbeat, there's life. That's why when your heart stops in the hospital, they get out those paddles and they rub them together and go, right? And to get your heart started, because if you don't have a heartbeat, you're dead. Okay, that's just the way that works. So she's just trying to deny the absolute objective proof of life, which is a heartbeat. And that's why she's another loser, as you said, biggest loser. And Florida, 15-week, and she is a biggest loser. Like I said, big as the tank Abrams. I'm sorry, girl. She should be careful for diabetes. Maybe she is too big. But for Florida, look, the 15-week abortion ban there, which is just very much like Louisiana's ban. It goes based on fetal pain. Governor DeSantis and Senator Rubio just absolutely, cleaned everybody's clocks and is now a superstar of, the pro-life, community. So those are very strong indicators that when candidates went toward life, embraced the pro-life issue, and were strong and weren't these, mewling pukes of, well, I personally support, pro-life, but I want to back a woman's right to choose. When you're doing that mewling and puking like that, well, of course, you're not a strong candidate. So these are strong candidates that ran on a pro-life message and they won. So other states where pro-aborts won, there were to be expected, like, my radical, the People's Republic of California out here, Proposition 1, Governor Newsom, of course, won. We've got a super majority or something out here in California. And so that they were expected to win, right? In Kansas and Michigan, these were places where we expected it. So there weren't a huge reversal. Pro-life is winning. And guess what? We've got enough pro-life votes now in the House to stop any codification of Roe versus Wade. So there. So you know what? Yeah, we did pro-life win every did we get to the Senate? No, but we certainly got as far as the House, and we're going to be able to stop the pro-abort agenda. That's called winning. Yes, it's incrementalism.
I'm still confused by how everyone else is confused about the Hobbs decision. They can't, based on the opinion, they can't codify it at the federal level. The Supreme Court would be like, guys.
Now they have to amend the Constitution.
We just said you can't.
But they can't put it in the statute, right? Mm-hmm. They can't put it in a statute because that would conflict, and then we'd have to, go to, another Supreme Court decision. But they could amend the Constitution.
Now,
see, and that's what their goal is, and that's what should be our goal. Amend the Constitution for a personhood, a right to exist.
I always say that I'm not calling for violence. I always say that, and I should be on the screen by myself right now. This is great.
And you are.
But I'm telling you guys, Absolutely not. I will be boats and hose like George back here if they tried to amend the Constitution to add abortion as the next amendment. Like, no. Nope.
Well, until then,
Nope.
you just keep your gun in your pocket, okay?
Oh,
And you just keep your bullets in your pocket too, okay? Because
Well, it does take two to tango. I mean, you guys got to admit.
not for much longer. If under Proposition 1, if you have a right to reproductive freedom, maybe you can make the state pay for your insemination. Just saying. Or maybe you can actually, if you're like, Beto O'Rourke, maybe he wants to have a womb implant. They're talking about that because
Ooh,
I guess you guys really want to get into having babies. Really?
Yeah,
Seriously?
can I move to California and then sue the state for not being able to impregnate me as some kind of discrimination?
Probably so. I'm sure there's going to be test cases. I wish we had clever people who were doing it on the pro-life side. But well, one argument could be made. Look, the state in California, it requires all medical facilities to be licensed, right? Because we want to know who the doctors are and what they're performing, like pro-life clinics, right? And abortion clinics like Planned Parenthood. Every year they have to pay a licensing fee, and you have to make sure that you filed all your paperwork and stuff. Well, does that interfere with someone's individual reproductive freedom, right? Why shouldn't I, as a woman, be able to go to any clinic I want, or hire a doula or anybody? Why do I have to go to a licensed facility? Isn't that licensing itself interfering or denying my right as an individual? So maybe there's even a case to be able to test it and say, well, yeah, we're a bunch of pro-life clinics, or maybe we're pro-life doctors, or maybe we're pro-abortion doctors, either way. And we can just tell the state, pound sand, I don't have to pay for this licensing anymore. I can offer my services, and you cannot deny or interfere with them because that interferes with some of a third party's right. I don't know. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but this is how
you had me at telling the government to pound sand.
And so here's the thing, and growing up in California, Gen X, 1970s, 1980s.
Guys, MyPillow.com is the very best place for Christmas shopping. You might be feeling like it's a time crunch, like you got to go to big box stores, Walmart, Target, Amazon. Don't buy from Amazon. You don't have to do it. Mike Lindell and MyPillow, they've got everything you need and more. Guys, we're talking pillows, sheets, loungewear, slippers, everything. Guys, mypillow.com/Mobley for the very best deals. Use promo code Mobley at checkout. Look at these prices. You got Giza Dream sheets for $29.98. Guys, the My slippers are on sale with my promo code Mobley, $49.98. They're usually $140. Huge savings. You're not going to find that anywhere else, guys. Look, you got pillows, you got loungewear. Now, look, if you don't know about My Pillow loungewear, this stuff right here is some of the most comfortable stuff, the softest cotton you've ever seen, the sleepwear, the loungewear. My Pillow sweatshirt, I never take it off. You get up to 80% on all of these items. You thought My Pillow was just about pillows. You thought Mike Lindell was just a pillow guy. You were wrong. He sells so much more than pillows. MyPillow.com/Mobley, promo code Mobley. Guys, go there now. Huge thanks to Mike Lindell. Huge thanks to MyPillow for being a sponsor of the show. Now let's get back into it.
Heard the whole crap. Sorry.
He heard the whole crap, ladies and gentlemen.
See, and you got to mess with me.
Did you have?
Oh, thank God we're recording this. I keep thinking this is live because I keep seeing that live ticker.
He's so
right, I can
with that live button.
It is confusing.
Mess with him.
It's confusing because it says live.
Yeah. You just should push that button, and then it triggers Casey. Just we're live.
He's got battered broadcaster syndrome.
Poor guy.
Today's been one of those days, bro.
What are you doing to Casey? I think he's got a case against you.
It's because it's a two interview day. We're falling apart at the seams here.
Well, and I'll tell you, I swear to God. Okay, well, obviously this is big. Oh, that's right. We can edit all of this out. So you guys, well, actually, on the West Coast. Okay, so Joe's doing his East Coast thing. So right when he wants to do his show is right when I'm trying to wake up, walk the dog, get some breakfast, maybe a cup of coffee, right? And that's like I'm down to like 45 minutes. I wake up, 45 minutes. I gotta be on. And then he drops another show on me. Sweet.
Well, see,
the
I
next show
mean,
happens
That's because
during
you're a
lunch.
trained
I haven't
broadcast
eaten
professional,
today.
Casey.
I'm on the right coast. It's dark outside here. Like you guys,
see?
yeah.
See? Well, he says he's on the right coast, but every time that he has a shitty day weather-wise, and it's glorious here
we're on the
every
left
single
is
day.
good, so there.
No, Virginia's weather's the best. Virginia's just, it's such a good state.
It is beautiful.
Our only downfall is our proximity to DC. So the government keeps spilling over into Northern Virginia.
How's
All
the
these
surf?
contract jobs and agencies. So
Well, you'll never want for money over there because it's always flowing into DC, right? There you go.
yeah, but into the criminals' pockets, I don't get a piece of that action.
Yeah, they're all in office.
Yeah.
Well, now some of them we've got good guys coming in. Good guys. You know, they're not all criminals. They sure haven't been proved criminals. That's a whole nother show, right?
Oh, no,
That's
Trump
true.
thing. Ooh. Let's talk California, right? And living in California as a Republican. How about the fact that, like, I used to think I was a Democrat in my entire life until I learned the difference between Democrats and Republicans and realized, holy crap, I'm a Republican and there's no way I'm going to talk about that.
That's what Tim Pool said.
Ever.
He said where he grew up, they're just Republicans were like urban legend. He'd never seen one, heard of one, and then he finally like meets one, and he's like, "Wait, what? You believe what?" He's like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm
Damn, dude.
conservative."
Holy crap,
We
I'm a
also just talk
Republican.
about our beliefs and not the parties so much. Talk about the issues and the beliefs because that's what grounds us. And I think most Americans agree on a lot of the issues. I think 85% of Americans agree on a lot of things. So, and I know for sure that the abortion pro-life debate that crosses both parties. There are pro-life Democrats. There's a great pro-life Democrat organization out in California. They're good people. There's pro-life SF, that Kristen Turner. She's like as she appears to be as left as you would believe, but she's very, very strong pro-life. So and there are also, of course, pro-abort Republicans, or so-called, right? So the abortion issue goes both ways, and it goes across both lines. And so that's why it's really important to speak to the pro-life community, because they are Democrats and they're Republicans, they're liberals, they're conservatives, because the issue is, are we going to defend individual life, individual rights, or not? And that is, again, it is the center of our Constitution and our way of life. And when an individual's life doesn't matter, when the state can take it from you so easily, right, by legislating and spending money to kill individuals, well, now we're just talking about location. Now we can euthanasia if we're just talking about inconvenient life, because that's what's justifying abortion.
Inconvenient life.
Inconvenient.
Oh.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what
really.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're talking about. People that
Right.
we don't necessarily want around because it's going to make life harder for us.
Right, exactly.
That's
and you know what?
selfish.
There's just a very, very small step until, the pro-aborts want to start wiping out the very inconvenient pro-lifers that happen to still be alive. So,
in Germany, it was the inconvenient Jews.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yes, it was. They
Yeah.
were very inconvenient, right? And so, and that's what we're talking about. We're inconvenient grandma in the, the senior care center, right? She's inconvenient.
Right.
You know what? I mean, like the argument about dependency, or that a child is dependent on its mother in the womb, and then later when you're 2 or 3 or 4. Well, guess what? College students are pretty dependent. They're pretty inconvenient. I'm sorry, but they just are. So, if we're talking about inconvenient humans, look, the global warming crowd that's now remade itself as climate change, right? Humans are inconvenient to the planet. And that is why
there's a big
global
group that
push
says
is
that.
to
Hey, and there's your justification for depopulation.
absolutely got to control those little carbon footprints. So abortion is at the hub of all of this, because we're talking about inconvenient life to the planet, to my political party, to my personal goals and aspirations. It's all about that. And that is why the pro-life community must stand. We have to have a principled stand that life begins at conception and it must be defended, just so that we can save our republic, if no other reason, because without an individual basis for our rights, our Constitution is pretty much just a piece of paper.
Well, I mean, how's that for an inconvenient truth?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, speaking of inconvenience, is anyone else blown away when these yahoos are like, oh yeah, kill all the babies, but like you kill a bug or an animal
puppy.
and they
Right.
freak,
Oh my God.
the
You're
F
destroying
out.
the planet.
It's
We
just
really
like, are
need to
you
start
kidding?
messaging PETA. You know, we need to do messaging for PETA because they're going to start fundraising, of course, at Thanksgiving and Christmas. We always see these advertisements that are just, oh, wouldn't you please save this poor little puppy? And we see these poor little dogs who are just shaking and sitting there with mange and just, you know, they're abused.
Abort those
terrible.
dogs.
It's terrible. I mean,
Abort those
it
dogs.
is.
God, Sarah.
I
Yeah.
mean, but
Sarah McLachlan.
really. And you see these poor. If you go into any stores anymore, go into Home Goods, and they've got an entire section of dog costumes and presents and like dog pets, and are like, and then you see, and I actually saw a couple. I was just there the other day, and they're pushing this little stroller, and I look down because I think I'm going to see a little baby, and it's a Chihuahua. And so it's like, okay, if we could just channel what PETA does and what all of these wonderful organizations do to humanize pets, right? And say we need to save these animals. Why can't we save the baby humans? Why can't we save that too? Because what we do
going
to
on the
baby
offensive.
humans, it's terrible. What we do to human beings, we chop them up and alive in bits and drag them out, and it's a form of torture. It's barbarism. We wouldn't do that to puppies. We wouldn't.
Abortion, post-birth abortion. The first time I heard that, I was like, what? Somebody has a live, viable baby, and you chop them up because mom doesn't want them?
Well, we do that in California. It's called AB 2223. That's the infanticide bill. And the way they do that is they say, well, no one is going to be prosecuted criminally or civilly for any kind of, for a miscarriage, for a stillbirth, for abortion, or for perinatal death due to causes that occur in utero. What does that mean? Well, perinatal death is the death of a baby born alive due to causes that occur in utero. Well, what's that? Well, we don't know. Could be a botched abortion, like a chemical abortion, or it could be a surgical abortion or saline abortion or whatever. So that baby is born alive. It's just
the baby made
on
it.
The table, and we can
Oh
just,
my God.
and no one is going to be able to, so long as they point to something that occurred in utero, it's never going to be investigated. And if you threaten to investigate, why did this baby die? Was it smothered on the table, right? What did you actually kill it after it was born? You'll never be able to know, because to even threaten an investigation triggers a private lawsuit by the mother and anyone who assisted her, and they can sue you for $25,000 plus attorney's fees and costs. So no one's going to find out. All of this is going to be buried alive, if you will, right? This is the don't ask, don't tell, abortion is murder bill. That's what this is.
Oh my God.
Coming into effect, coming to a state near you, January 1st.
I just had a really good video idea. Sorry, had to write it down.
I'm having a
before I
great time
lost it.
sleeping tonight.
It's so sick. It's so sick.
Well, ladies and gents, that's the time. We are
I got a heart out.
Yeah, we are going to do this hour
past.
thing, and part of the show moving forward is Casey and I are going to try and stay on time.
Yeah, right.
Susan, thanks so much for coming on the show, and guys, check out Right to Life Lorg.
No, I'll tell you. Let me handle this. Don't hurt
Go
yourself.
for it.
Okay.
Don't get confused.
You keep your gun in your pocket. Okay, I'm going to tell you. It's righttolifeleague.org. Righttolifeleague.org. Please just check out our news and events. Hit the donate button. Buy us a cup of coffee, because I'll tell you what we do. The Right to Life League was founded in 1967. We tried to persuade Governor Ronald Reagan from signing the Bielenson bill, but he promised us he'd never again sign another piece of pro-abort legislation. He kept his word. And since that time, in 1967, we helped pro-life clinics, centers, and maternity homes all up and down the state keep their doors open with corporate compliance, HR trainings, ultrasound machines, funding, whatever they need to keep their doors open, because they are the boots on the ground. So if you want to make sure that you know that your money's actually going to help pro-life in California and fight back against these Marxist commies, that's where you go, is righttolifeleague.org. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, we will see you in the next one. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. To him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. If that was the first prayer you've ever prayed, I hope it won't be the last. Until next time, this is The Joe Mobley Show.